Imagine for a moment that everything you know about human history is a carefully edited version of the truth. That ancient civilizations did not simply disappear, but along with them, their most revolutionary discoveries were systematically erased from history. That behind the closed doors of the world's most powerful institutions lie documents and artifacts capable of overturning our understanding of reality. This is not a conspiracy fantasy. This is the story of the longest and most successful campaign to control information in human history, a war against knowledge that continues to this day. It all began on the night the world lost its memory. On a cold February night in 391, the sky above Alexandria was lit up orange. But it wasn't the sunset. It was a fire that consumed the largest repository of human knowledge ever created. Christian fanatics, led by Patriarch Theophilus of Alexandria, stormed the Serapeum, part of the legendary Library of Alexandria. Priceless scrolls burned for hours. According to contemporary accounts, the ashes fell like snow on the city for days. But what burned that night were not just books. Hipparchus of Nicaea, the father of astronomy, had calculated the precession of the Earth's axis and mapped over 850 stars in a catalog so accurate that modern astronomers wonder how he achieved this without a telescope. All his work was irretrievably lost. We know about him only from quotations by Ptolemy, who wrote 3 centuries later. Seleucus of Seleucia, a contemporary of Hipparchus, developed a heliocentric model of the solar system, 1,800 years before Copernicus. Ptolemy does not even mention him. Why? Because the idea that the Earth was not the center of the universe was too dangerous. In the ruins of ancient cities, archaeologists continue to discover artifacts that should not exist according to official history. The Antikythera mechanism, an analog computer from 100 BC, is so complex that similar technology would not appear until the 14th century. It could predict eclipses, track the movement of the planets, and calculate the Olympic Games with an accuracy that baffles modern engineers. Heron of Alexandria created not just toys, but functioning steam engines, automatic doors for temples, and even programmable robots. His Aeolipile, the first documented steam turbine, worked on the same principle as modern turbines. If his technology had been developed, the Industrial Revolution could have started 1,700 years earlier. But all this knowledge disappeared. Why? The destruction of the Library of Alexandria was not a random act of vandalism. It established a pattern that would be repeated throughout the centuries. When knowledge threatens the established power, it must be destroyed. Emperor Theodosius I did not simply close the library. He issued edicts prohibiting the study of mathematics and astronomy as pagan practices. Scholars were forced to flee or abandon their research. In less than a generation, Alexandria went from being the intellectual capital of the world to a provincial town. Today, deep beneath the Vatican, in climate-controlled reinforced concrete bunkers, there are 85 kilometers of shelves. This is the Archivum Apostolicum Vaticanum, the Vatican Apostolic Archives, known until 2019 as the Secret Archives. However, the word secret was removed by Pope Francis in an attempt to reduce speculation, but this only heightened suspicions. What is actually hidden there? Officially, administrative documents, papal correspondence, diplomatic treaties. But leaked information tells a different story. In 2012, to mark the 400th anniversary of the archives, the Vatican exhibited 100 documents. Among them, Mary Stuart's last letter before her execution, the bull of excommunication of Martin Luther, and most intriguingly, the Chinon parchment. This document, lost for 700 years and accidentally rediscovered in 2001, proves that Pope Clement V actually acquitted the Templars of heresy in 1308. But if this is true, why was the order destroyed? And what other lost knowledge is waiting to be rediscovered? Archivist Sergio Pagano, who worked in the archives for 45 years, revealed shocking details in his 2024 book, Secretum. The Vatican knew about the Holocaust in real time, received detailed reports about the camps, but chose to remain silent. The documents proving this were inaccessible until 2020. But the real bombshell lies in the forbidden Gospels. when a clay pot containing 52 Gnostic texts was discovered in Nag Hammadi, Egypt, in 1945, the Vatican immediately tried to acquire and suppress the find. Why? The Gospel of Thomas presents Jesus not as a savior, but as a teacher of secret knowledge. The kingdom of God is within you and all around you. It is not in buildings of stone and wood. Split a piece of wood, and I am there. Lift a stone, and you will find me. The Gospel of Mary Magdalene presents her as Jesus' closest disciple, receiving secret teachings that he did not share with the male apostles. The Gospel of Philip even hints at an intimate relationship between Jesus and Mary. These texts paint a picture of early Christianity that is radically different from the official version, more mystical, more egalitarian, more dangerous to institutional power. In 1994, German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt made a discovery in southeastern Turkey that literally turned history textbooks upside down. Göbekli Tepe is a massive temple complex built 11,600 years ago when, according to official history, humanity was just mastering agriculture. The T-shaped columns, some 5.5 meters high and weighing up to 20 tons, are covered with exquisite reliefs of animals and abstract symbols. The precision of the workmanship suggests knowledge of mathematics, engineering, and organization that should not have existed. But the strangest thing is that the complex was deliberately buried 10,000 years ago. Someone carefully covered it with tons of soil, as if preserving it for the future, or hiding it. Schmidt worked on the site for 20 years until his death in 2014, but published surprisingly little information. His colleagues report that he believed Göbekli Tepe proved the existence of a lost pre-flood civilization. After his death, research slowed down, funding was cut, media coverage was minimized. Between 1880 and 1920, American newspapers published hundreds of reports about the discovery of giant human skeletons. The New York Times wrote in 1902, 9-foot skeleton found in Arizona. The San Antonio Express wrote in 1940, 7 to 9-foot skeletons found in Texas. But when modern researchers try to trace these findings, they lead to one institution, the Smithsonian Institute. And there, the trail disappears. It is claimed that in the 1900s, a secret operation was carried out to collect and destroy all anomalous skeletons. The reason? They contradicted Darwin's theory of evolution, which was just becoming scientific dogma. Alternative archaeologist Richard Durst documented over 1,500 newspaper reports of giant skeletons. When he requested access to the Smithsonian archives, he was denied. When he filed a request under the Freedom of Information Act, he received the response, "There are no records of such findings." We arrive at January 7th, 1943, the New Yorker Hotel, room 3327. Nikola Tesla is found dead by the maid. Within hours before the body is even moved, FBI agents storm the room. They confiscate everything: documents, drawings, prototypes. 80 boxes of materials disappear into the bowels of the government. The official version: nothing important was found. The unofficial version: Tesla was on the verge of a breakthrough that would have made the oil industry obsolete overnight. Tesla's nephew, Sava Kosanovich, claims that his uncle had a working model of the death ray, a directed energy weapon capable of shooting down aircraft from 400 kilometers away. Tesla offered it to the US government in 1940. They refused. After his death, the prototype disappeared. In 1952, 60 of the 80 boxes were returned to Yugoslavia. The remaining 20, the government claims to know nothing about them. John Trump, a professor at MIT and uncle of future President Donald Trump, was tasked with reviewing Tesla's documents. His report: nothing useful. But why then do the documents remain classified to this day? Let's go back in history to Friday, October 13th, 1307. By order of King Philip IV the Fair, thousands of Knights Templar were arrested simultaneously throughout France. The official charge: heresy. The real reason: they knew something that could bring down the Catholic Church. In 200 years, the Templars rose from poor knight monks to the richest organization in Europe. How? Legend has it that between 1118 and 1128, 9 knights dug beneath Solomon's temple in Jerusalem. What they found there remains a mystery, but after their return to Europe, Pope Innocent II granted them unprecedented privileges. According to leaked Vatican documents, it is believed that the Templars possessed original texts proving that Jesus and Mary Magdalene had children. The Ark of the Covenant, which disappeared from Jerusalem 2,600 years ago. Ancient Egyptian and Babylonian texts on alchemy and sacred geometry. Maps of lands beyond the end of the world, probably America. When Philip attacked, the Templars' fleet, 18 ships loaded with treasure, disappeared from the port of La Rochelle. The fleet was never found. Some historians believe that it reached Scotland, where Templar knowledge was passed on to the nascent Freemasonry. But let's also look at the ancient Indian epics Ramayana and Mahabharata, written over 4,000 years ago. They describe in detail flying machines called vimanas. But these are not mythological metaphors. The texts contain technical specifications. From the Samarangana Sutradhara, the construction of the vimana must be strong and durable, like a large flying bird made of light material. A mercury engine must be placed inside, with a heating device underneath it. Through the power of the latent energy in the mercury, which drives the rotating vortex, a person sitting inside can travel a great distance in the sky. Mercury heated in a closed system. This describes an ion engine, a technology developed by NASA, but not before the 60s. The Mahabharata describes a weapon called Brahmastra, a single projectile charged with the entire power of the universe. A column of smoke and flame, bright as 10,000 suns, rose in all its glory. It was an unknown weapon, an iron lightning bolt, a giant harbinger of death, which reduced the entire race of the Vrisas and Andakas to ashes. The corpses were so badly burned that they were unrecognizable. Hair and nails fell out. Pots broke for no apparent reason, and birds turned white. After a few hours, all food was contaminated. To escape this fire, soldiers threw themselves into streams to wash themselves and their equipment. Radiation poisoning. Nuclear explosion. Described 4,000 years ago. Looking at the more recent past and the US Patent Office, we find a secret program called the Sensitive Application Warning System, SAWS. When a patent is filed for sensitive technology, it can be classified under the Inventions Act for security reasons. Over 5,000 patents are under such a ban. What technologies are being suppressed? Alternative energy sources, especially over-unity devices. Anti-gravity technologies, certain medical treatments. Quantum communication systems. Inventors are ordered to remain silent. Violations are punishable by 20 years in prison. Stan Meyer, who invented a water-powered car, died suddenly in 1998 after a meeting with investors. His last words were, "They poisoned me." John Hutchison, who discovered the levitation effect of metals through electromagnetic fields, was visited by the military. His laboratory was confiscated. His research was classified. Dr. Royal Rife developed a microscope with 60,000 times magnification and frequency therapy in the 1930s that destroyed cancer cells without damaging healthy ones. 16 terminal patients were cured in a clinical trial in 1934. The American Medical Association offered to buy the technology. He refused. His laboratory burned down. Lawsuits ruined him. His colleagues were threatened or bribed to deny the results. Today, frequency therapy is banned in the US as medical fraud, although variants of it are used in Europe and Russia. We have told you about these cases in detail in our video series called Banned Technologies and the Silencing of Their Inventors. Now we look at Dr. Virginia Steen McIntyre, who dated artifacts in Huayatlaco, Mexico to 250,000 years old, 10 times older than the accepted date for the settlement of America. The result? Her career was destroyed, her publications rejected, her access to the site denied. Michael Cremo and Richard Thompson documented hundreds of similar cases in Forbidden Archaeology, 900 pages of suppressed findings that contradict official history. Why? Because rewriting history means rethinking everything: religion, science, power. Too many institutions have too much to lose. Big tech companies don't just filter information, they shape it. Google searches for alternative history or suppressed technology lead to fact-checkers and debunkers, while the original sources are buried after the 10th page. YouTube demonetizes or removes videos about alternative archaeology, free energy, unregistered medicine, conspiracy theories, even documented ones. Facebook and Twitter use artificial intelligence trained to recognize and suppress misinformation, a term that conveniently includes anything that contradicts the official narratives. Julian Assange, who revealed war crimes in Iraq and Afghanistan, corporate espionage on a global scale, election manipulation, bank fraud. He got 11 years of actual imprisonment, psychological harassment, and threats of extradition. The message is clear. Revealing the truth is punished more severely than committing the crimes themselves. Edward Snowden revealed the largest espionage program in history. He now lives in exile, but something is changing. The internet, which was created for control, has become a tool for liberation. Every day, new documents are leaked. New archaeological finds are shared online before being lost in quotation marks, and new inventors publish their discoveries in open source code. The Vatican is opening its archives, slowly, reluctantly, but opening them nonetheless. Governments are declassifying UFO documents. Scientists are questioning dogma. The truth has a strange property. Once released, it cannot be put back in the bottle. Today, we live in a critical moment. Control technologies have never been more powerful. Artificial intelligence, quantum computers, biometric surveillance, and social engineering. But the tools for uncovering the truth have never been more accessible. The question is not whether hidden history exists. It is whether we are ready to see it, accept it, and act on it. Because the truth is not just an academic exercise, it is the key to understanding who we are, where we come from, and where we are going. And most importantly, who and why is trying to stop us from understanding it. The war for knowledge continues, but for the first time in millennia, ordinary people have a chance to win. The truth is waiting. The question is, are you ready for it? Don't be indifferent and share this video on social media so that it reaches more people. You can find more similar videos on our channel. On the left side of your screen, you can see the first part of our series, Forbidden Technologies and the Silencing of Their Inventors.